Hey up, Rayvers. Now, Dune 2 is out at the cinema at the moment. They had Dune 1 a year or two back, and now Dune 2 is out, and folk are raving about it. Critics are raving about it. So I thought for this week, I will go back to the 1980s version of Dune. So, looking at Dune. Dune. Yes, Dune, directed by David Lynch, who I ain't seen much David Lynch stuff, but I gather he does weird stuff. I ain't familiar with it, but yeah.
Oh, Mommy!
But what I noticed, the thing that struck me watching the title sequence, was that the music were done by Toto. Yeah, quite partial to a bit of Toto. Very talented musicians, Toto. Although I confess I didn't realise that Bob Carroll G's were in the band. And everybody knows Africa, don't they? They love Africa. I mean the song Africa, not the deodorant by Lynx. Very tricky lyrics, Africa, if you ever do it on karaoke. Rising like Olympus above the Serengeti. How'd you say that? How'd you get that to scan? Impossible. Very tricky song to do, karaoke. Anyway, Dune. Yeah, it kicks off with this lady rattling off a load of exposition to try and explain the plot. And she keeps banging on about the Ode Spice. Not Ode Spice. No, not Ode Spice. No, Spice. Spice melange, apparently. Does all sorts of weird and wonderful stuff.
The spice extends life. The spice expands consciousness. The spice is vital to space travel.
Anyway, we then get some more exposition with some faceless voiceover talking us through these different planets and the different folk who inhabit the planets. It's pretty early in the film, but I'm starting to get confused already, to be honest with you. But we then meet Jose Farah, who I think is Emperor of the entire universe. But I'm not sure, I'm getting a bit confused, as I say. And Jose Farah has a meeting with what can only be described as a giant talking scrotum. And during this meeting, he gives us a lot more exposition as well.
The Duke is becoming more popular in the Landsraad. He could threaten me. I have ordered House Atrades to occupy Arrakis to mine the spice, thus replacing their enemies, the Harkonnens. Then, at an appointed time, Baron Harkonnen will return to Arrakis and launch a sneak attack on House Atrades.
Rightly or wrongly, I've taken it to mean House Atrades are the goodies and House Harkonnen are the baddies. We then meet Paul Atreides, who presumably is the hero of the story. And when he's not doing fighting training with Patrick Stewart in some weird cuboid things, or scrapping with this robot thingy being watched by Dean Stockwell and Freddie Jones with massive eyebrows, he's banging on about the Ode Spice and all.
Saturation of the blood by the spice melange. Could the spice affect us in other ways?
Not Ode Spice. No. Of course, Ode Spice reminds me of Denise's Auntie Beryl. We love Auntie Beryl. She's a marvel for her age. Absolutely brilliant fun, Auntie Beryl. But bloody hell, she gives awful Christmas presents. Bloody rubbish. Always used to give Dino Ode Spice when he was a teenager. And he hated it. He'd much rather have had Africa. Not the song by Toto. No, the deodorant by Lynx.
Africa.
Yeah, so I always got to use his Ode Spice instead. Happy days. Now, after meeting Paul's dad, who's the head of House Atrades, he's the bearded U-boat commander from Das Boot, Paul's mum, played by Francesca Annis, takes him to see some psychic woman who's got an haircut like Murphy from RoboCop. They do some weird stuff, and I'm not sure what's happening. And it's about half hour into the film by this point, and I'm thinking this is pretty bloody boring. You keep hearing loads of the characters in the monologues, Presumably because they're just dumping loads of clunky exposition to try and explain what the bloody hell's going on.
The super being.
No man has ever been tested with the box.
But then we bugger off to Gidi Prime, the home planet of House Harkonnen, the aforementioned baddies. This bloke's obviously a baddie because he's got horrible pustules all over his face. And he can't be asked to walk anywhere. He just floats about with his magic jetpack trousers. But also, the Harkonnens are accompanied by sinister music. And wear these sinister costumes. Although they have all got bright orange hair, which sort of reminded me of Russ Abbott's See You Jimmy character. I think I might have a See You Jimmy out somewhere. Anyway, yeah, that took the edge off him a bit. But we do see Sting. Yeah, Sting's in this as one of the baddies. And to demonstrate how evil these baddies are, they get this young lad in and do something despicably evil with him. I don't know exactly what it is, but they cut away. So it's obviously despicable. So we've established that the Harkonnens are the baddies. And meanwhile, the Atrades, the Atreidians, Atreidonians, them lot, they've buggered off to Arrakis, the Dune planet, to look after this spice production. But they get betrayed by Dean Stockwell and his massive eyebrows. Don't know why. I'm confused by this point. And the Harkonnens rock up and murder everybody, including Das Boot. But Paul Atreides and his mum manage to do a runner and escape from these two blokes with really dodgy haircuts. I mean, it looks like they've been caught short halfway through, doesn't it? Yeah, they've asked the barber for number one, and the fire alarm's gone off, or the clippers have run out of battery or something, and they didn't finish the job. Anyway, yeah, they escape from them, only to then get chased by a massive sand todger. Yeah, dirty great worm swinging about. And only narrowly escape that. But they encounter a tribe of the Fremen, who are these blue-eyed folk who live in the desert. And, crikey, this is really testing me now, this film. It's boring. It is boring. There's loads of talking, loads of inner monologues. And it's all so po-faced, there's no humour at all. Even popping the IDI music over the You Have Been Watching style end credits doesn't liven it up. There's a bit where Paul Atreides starts riding a massive sand todger. This is obviously supposed to be some sort of epic moment, but it's obviously just superimposed along with this other bloke, and it looks pretty crap. You don't see him actually on the worm. You just see him green screened holding onto these ropes to make it look like he's riding the worm. It's not dissimilar to Roger when he's skiing. Yeah, it just looks crap. And every time I saw the giant sand todger worms, it just made me think of Tremors and how much more fun Tremors is. Tremors is great. Loads of humour, great characters in it, got some really thrilling bits in it. If you want to see a film with giant sand todger worms, watch Tremors. Loads more fun than Dune. And also in Tremors, they ain't banging on about this sodding spice every 10 seconds.
Spice. Pure, unrefined spice.
The worm. Spice. Is there a relationship?
The worm is the spice. The spice is the worm.
Spice.
Spice.
Okeydoo on 2 Ray's ratings. Well, I like my science fiction, but this ain't really sort of science fiction I like. I like sort of depressing 1970s science fiction, your dystopian future stuff. Or paranoid 1950s science fiction. Or maybe a bit of switch your brain off Arnie science fiction. Any of that sort of stuff. I'm a big fan of that. I like all that stuff. But this sort of space epic type stuff, not really my thing. Never that keen on Star Wars. So I weren't expecting any more than a 2-star film, to be honest. Now, what did I get? Well, I thought it was shite. I thought it were absolute shite. Po-faced, confusing, but most of all, boring. By the time the giant sand todgers turned up, I were already switched off. That were crap. So I'm rating Dune a 1-star, 2-star film. Oh my Jew, how could I forget? We ain't mentioned Sting in his space underpants yet, have we? Yeah, what a sight to behold that is. Don't look very practical, them space underpants. They got knobbly bits sticking off them. Imagine wearing them under your trousers. Them knobbly bits would be poking out, making very suggestive shapes. You'd need a lewd themes warning. Otherwise you'd get yourself arrested wearing them space underpants. Cuts a fine figure though, doesn't he, in his space underpants, Sting? Not dissimilar to me, after I've come out of the shower and splashed on a bit of Old Spice. Now, I've put this on, but Scottish Rayvers are going to get offended by this. Is it offensive? Yeah, it might be like a Scottish stereotype. I'm just exacerbating that stereotype, ain't I? Yeah, don't want to offend anybody. Hey, I'll just tell them I'm our Conan on a golfing holiday. Yeah. Yeah. Hope you enjoyed my review of Dune, Rayvers. And if you did, poke the old like button for me. Give it a good old poke. Hey, maybe if you got a pair of Sting's space underpants, you just have to give it a pelvic thrust in the general direction, and the sharp pointy bit of the space underpants will poke the like button for you. And remember to share our reviews with your mates and subscribe to my channel if you ain't already a subscriber. Very much appreciated, as are all the great comments you lot keep putting on. I love reading them. Thank you very much for those, and apologies if I don't get around to responding to them all. And copyright box permitting, I'll be back with another review for you very soon. So I will see you next time. Okeydoo!